trick to video is no panic. Here we have our guide rollers for guiding the sheet metal across here into the clamps, which these clamps are aluminum to protect the stainless steel from getting marred. We have our air cylinder here, which operates our clamps. In the center here, we have a push cylinder, which actually takes the table after it's been lifted and pushes the table and your part forward.
1.5 inches.
These are your weld guns. This machine, there's 16 of them. This is the actual electrode holder, and this here is the electrode itself. This is the shunt bar. Back here we have our cable. These are our water cooling, water in, water out. Up here you have your air connections. This bolt here is how you adjust the guns. Loosen it up and move it by hand. Do not, and I repeat, I can't say it enough, do not use a hammer on this. It's very second. This is the gun itself. When you move these guns, do not use a hammer. Loosen the bolt and move them by hand. Tighten the bolt back up. And all of these guns are attached to a slide mechanism, which I'll explain in just a second. This is a cylinder that operates the slide mechanism. This shifts the guns over 1.5 inches, shifts them over, shifts them back. And this here is the actual slide mechanism. This slide mechanism has 3 grease fittings on the front of the machine. The grease fittings are located here, here, and there, and should be lubed at least once after 8-hour shift of production. We have here the filter, oiler, and regulator assembly. Okay. Over here we have 1-inch NPT input. On top we have our air surge tank. On this oiler is a light air oil or any type of light oil in here. We don't ship them with oil in them. It depends on what you're going to use. And up here you have an adjustment, which is positive and negative. There's a little sight glass. Adjust this so it drops 1 drop of oil for every 10 cycles these guns go up and down. It may take half a day, but just keep running and running. Eventually you'll see your oil pump through. Because all this has air in it, and you'll eventually have to purge that air out to get this thing to start working properly. Drain for your water. This is just a water separator. Drain for your oil. And this is where you adjust your regulator. This is where you hook your water up. Over here, by the way, this is air. Water in, it's 3/4 inch, or half inch in, and water out, which is a 3/4 inch out. You want to be sure that you make the larger line out to assure yourself of good water flow.
It's all yours.
This is the inside of the Intron control. When you tie this in, you'll tie L1 and L2 from your main power. Obviously you can bring it up from the ground or you can bring it in from the top. Here are our 4 SCRs. Each SCR is assigned to one of your 4 transformers on top. This is an area you don't want to be touching while the thing's turned on, because it'll light you up. Over here, this side, we have our 4 firing boards. Each firing board is associated with the SCR straight across from it. This shield's in here to protect in case of a water burst on your water lines. All your inputs come in here. This is for your foot switches. If you have palm buttons, they would all be tied into this board. This is your output board. This goes to all of your valves. We've got a fuse here to protect them. Each valve has its own fuse to protect them. Up here we have our programming board, which this is the brains of everything right here. And we have our display board, which is on the other side of this panel. When you receive your welder, it's going to be in probably 3 pieces. Okay, we put these plugs here and make it real simple. You can't mix these up. They are 3-pin, 5-pin, and a 4-pin. So we made it sort of idiot-proof, so you can't mess that up at all. They just plug right in. They have a keyway on them. Up here we have our air valves. Above those we have the surge tank that are feeding the air valves. All these valves, each valve is associated with 2 guns. Except for on the end you've got a shift valve, and then on the back side we have a valve for our outboard gun. These are your manitrolls. These do not adjust the air pressure. These adjust the guns to keep them from slamming down or slamming back up.
Oh, yeah.
Right now we have them pretty much set, so all your guns come down at the same time, they all come up at the same time. Okay. You pull out on your knob, adjust it. Once it's where you want it, push it in and lock it in place.
And the valve.
If you need to do a setup or something or check something, there's a little button on the side. You can push it in.